Hi there. You're about to enjoy the Chronicles of Tom and Jamie.
Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Mann.
Hey guys, my name's Annabelle Knight.
Hello, this is Becky Baldwin.
Hello, I'm Chesney.
Hey, what's up everyone? This is Braden from Say We Can Fly.
My name is Vish Precious from Pretty Addicted, and I am Lady Lucifer here to make your day evil. You are listening to the Chronicles of Podcast, so enjoy. Hail Satan.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the 128th edition of the Chronicles of Podcast. And these right here are the Chronicles of Pretty Addicted. It is I, the Beardy Brummy Jamie, and joining me as always, is this handsome fella right here.
What's going on, everybody? Tom's here. Hiya. And welcome to the Chronicles of Podcast. Hit it!
Ladies and gentlemen, this week we are bringing you a very special guest, a woman and musician who is unapologetically herself. A singer-songwriter who isn't afraid to speak her mind and challenge the world. A woman who, when my 12-year-old daughter saw her photo, said, "Oh my God, she looks so cool." This week, we bring you the leader of the Cult of Broken Children, Vish Precious, as we bring you the Chronicles of Pretty Addicted.
Oh man, what a beautiful intro. Thank you so much. And thank you. Really, thank you for having me. It's amazing to be here.
It's great to have you here, and I know it's taken us a while to get you here, so apologies for all the mishaps previous.
Have you ever given each other an intro?
No.
I haven't actually.
Would you know what you'd say?
That's good. Hey, we're supposed to be interviewing you here. What's going on here?
I'd big him up and he'd just call me a ginger brummy or something. No.
Yeah, prob. I mean, I was the best man at his wedding, so I think I feel like I've already given you one in a way.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And an intro.
So,
anyway.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm taking it down a different route.
Bish, do not apologise. Do not. I know we briefly touched on it at the very beginning of this before we got into this cruxy, deliciousy part. But yeah. How has your Monday been?
Yeah, no, it's been really good. I was sitting here. I've got 3 notebooks in front of me with loads of shit on it that I need to do, and I was organising it all into like priority lists and sections because I'm really like scatterbrained and disorganized as a person. So if I've got things in front of me, I can focus because everything, well, you know, you guys talk about mental health. I suffer with bipolar disorder, and everything is like, I want to do everything at the same time and then nothing gets done. So I have to like organize it all. Like, this is the most important shit, and this is stuff for like 2 months time, and then this is stuff at the end of the year. And now I have like a 3-year plan in front of me. So yeah.
That's awesome. Do you then lose the notebooks though because of your disorganization?
No, I just buy more, and I'm looking at about 2 drawers of notebooks.
That's fun. That is phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal.
Hello.
While I'm here, let me show you. This is actually my merch room.
Whoa, nice.
And then this is like where I post merch and I get all my labels and stuff. I'm very, very organized.
Check you out. That's great.
The proper business in here.
Beautiful.
But before I like to take these things back to when you were younger when I started. But before all of that, how was your birthday? How was your holiday?
It was fantastic. And just so that no one's like wanting to ask the question of how old I was 36 years old. So I'm older than people think I am, but fuck it. It was beautiful. I was away in the sun, which I needed, and I promised myself for my holiday I would do nothing. So I did. And I didn't even think about a single thing. And it's like the first time I've ever switched off, I think, in a long time. So yeah, it was really, really good.
That's what we like. But before we talk all things Pretty Addicted, as I said, I like to take these things right back to the start. To take us back to the days of your youth, what did you want to be when you were growing up? Has it always been music for you or something completely different?
Always music. I mean, always writing. I went to like a performance art school when I was very, very little. So I was in like my first pantomime when I was like 8 or 9, I think. So I've always kind of been on the stage, and it doesn't really, like, I've never really get too anxious of it, which has come in handy later in life. But writing my own songs, writing my own stories, creative writing, fictional things. I had like no friends, so I just talked to myself and sang songs to myself. And did as many creative things as I could, and I was a Christian, so I talked to God a lot, unanswered, of course, which kind of explains where I am now. But yeah, I spent a lot of time on my own, discovering who I was, for good and for worse, and yeah, just being as creative. And my parents are divorced, but my dad really loved music, and he taught me pretty much everything I know about bands and artists and stuff. And he showed me The Prodigy when I was 6, and that was fucking it. That is like my ultimate favorite band. The Prodigy and Marilyn Manson. That's why I kind of like to sort of sit in the middle somewhere in my own way. But Prodigy like opened me up to this mad thing. And then on the weekends when I would visit him, he'd play like raves down in his basement, and because he used to do like the decks, DJing and stuff like that. Sorry, sometimes I say like 100 things at once and it all comes out a bit stuttery, and it's all not good. Quite
all good.
But yeah, it was just I was like Christian in the week, and then I would go to his house on the weekends and listen to music. So it was like these mad 2 different lives. But yeah, just always consumed by music, and I just felt like music understood me. And when I got older and started writing music, and then people started saying to me that they understood things through my music, that was like, I never considered that could even happen. And that just like brought everything into this, like there's no success like that for me. Like someone saying that to you, that something I wrote helped them, like genuinely, not just to dance or mosh or anything, but like with their life. And that's just crazy, because there's like albums I can see in my head now that got me through actual times before social media, before friends, before relationships, like actual albums that I sat with like a human being and got me through a period of time. So yeah, music is my best friend.
So like your dad heavily influenced you then?
Yeah. And now he influences a lot of my songs that are about anger. Yeah, no, I remember like he was really into like Public Enemy as a kid, and like hip hop in general, and he taught me about like proper hip hop. I don't want to be one of those elitist cunts, but like, can I say cunt? I just did, sorry, twice.
It's all right. Yeah, you're okay. You're
fine, don't worry.
So like, he was really into old school hip hop and Kraftwerk and things like that, and the electronic start. And he was like the biggest Gary Newman fan as well. So all the different genres that I listened to through him, and then went on to just discover things for myself. And then of course, as we all did, Hybrid Theory when I was like 12, and that just like sets you all off. And I think all of us got into like alternative music probably that way, like our age anyway. I'm just assuming you're my age, but
I am.
Yeah. So yeah, but like I've always just loved all genres, and I think that you're really doing yourself a disservice if you say, oh, I don't listen to that genre. Like, you might like songs in that genre, even if that genre is not as a whole massively great to you. Like, don't take music away from yourself, just like dip your fingers in all the pies, because there's good stuff everywhere.
No, I agree. I think it's very much a teenage thing because you want to fit in and look cool. So, like, NSYNC and Backstreet Boys had some fucking unbelievable tracks.
Okay, first of all, they were my first ever love. Hang on, my partner's knocking the door. Let him in, sorry.
Yeah, go.
You can come in. No, there's a cat.
Everyone getting involved.
Okay, you are facing it, so quickly go through. Okay. Sorry, yes.
Right.
I knew he was going to come home at some point. Yeah, saying that, Backstreet Boys is actually my very first love. Like as like an obsession. And I remember having about 300 Backstreet Boys posters on my wall, and I used to kiss Nick Carter before every sleep. Oh my God, so sad.
Not at all. No, why was it sad?
Bangers. They had absolutely, the album Black and Blue, like that was it. I love them. And then do you remember the whole like rivalry with NSYNC, and you can only pick one to like?
Yeah.
You couldn't say one, you couldn't say them both.
I loved that. We're back in the day with like 90s bands. You either like take that or Boyzone. Don't even fucking think about liking both.
Britney or Christina.
Yeah.
Nothing, like you can't like them both.
Brilliant.
That's actually quite sad. I see that sometimes happening in the industry now, actually. Sorry, my cat's going apeshit. I see that in the industry sometimes. It's quite sad where women especially, who are quite similar to each other, they're pitted against each other of like who you're allowed to like. No, chill. Sorry, my cat is going to... sometimes I see, like, obviously not naming names or anything, but sometimes I see women pitted against each other in the media where it's like there's only room for one of them on a lineup or in a magazine or something like that. And I think so there's a long way to go for women, but we are getting better.
Yeah, he'd be maybe headlining shows as well, headlining festivals. I don't see a lot of that at the moment.
I mean, if I had a drink in my hand and I was a bit loose-lipped, I might say more, but
Okay.
I've many opinions about women on lineups and the kind of woman that's allowed on lineups and at a certain level and things like that. And I don't think I often feel like there's not a lot of room for like gobby women, shall we say?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I get what you mean.
I haven't had gobby in ages. Sorry, it's like, it's like I remember that word.
I'm from Croydon, mate. What can I say?
Says it all, Vish. Says it all.
I was a chav. I was a chav when I was younger. I was a proper chav. But I would have never allowed you to say chav. I loved like Eminem, and I would do like the hip hopper look. So it was like, I'm not a chav, I'm a hip hopper, you know.
Yeah, and Eminem again, absolutely unbelievable. There's so many. Oh, music's great. Sorry, it just is, isn't it? It's just wonderful.
If you could go on a desert island, I know there's no electricity or blah blah blah, and you could only take one genre of music with you, like what's your ultimate?
Oh, it's too difficult.
You can't pick one.
You can't, can you? It's just, you don't know what you're in the mood for.
That will sit with you now. I know that's the thing. There is a mood for everything, but it's like, and there's so many subgenres as well. That's why you shouldn't ever limit yourself. And I see a lot of like the punk police or the metal elitists or the goth elitists or like the industrial. There's like a lot of people that I'll meet that will say I only like this, and I'm like, why? There's so many different genres. Like there's a music song for every mood, you know.
Absolutely. And if I can't sleep tonight, Vish, I'll be emailing. 3 a.m. Metalcore.
3 a.m. is the hour. I was born at 3 a.m.
Oh, were you?
I'm a witch, mate.
So, in Pretty Addicted, you do music, the vocals, you do everything. That's right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what was it you originally wanted to do? Did you want to be a singer? Did you want to be a musician, or was this always the path you wanted to follow?
So, Pretty Addicted actually started as two people. We had an EP out, and he wrote most of the music and I just sang on it because I just we were just fucking about. There was like a year we just drunk a lot, and we were in his shed and he wrote music, and he was like, oh, I like your voice, because he heard it on something I did once, and he was like, do you want to fuck about and just like make a band? And we didn't really intend it to do anything, and like I say, he wrote most of the music. I like contributed little bits here and there. But we did it all together. But he left. We're still friends now, even though he's not in the band or anything. And he's a cool guy. But he left, and then I was left with like, okay, well, I've got a little taste of this now. What do I do? So I just learned how to produce. Like, I've written 5 albums that I consider mine, because they're the ones that I all wrote myself after this sort of duo thing. The first 3 I wrote in the studio with a producer, where I wrote everything, but he sort of pressed all the buttons, and I just told him what to do. I composed it and everything, but he sort of organized it for me. And he was my mentor, because the whole time he was just teaching me how to do it. And I needed him less and less with each album. And then the one I've just released was the very first one I wrote in my own studio that I built with like no help, and he mixed it for me, but I wrote the whole thing. I want to make that clear, because I said that's so super wrong. I wrote all of them myself, but when I say help, I mean he was like twiddling the knobs. Because I get this a lot. Like, people say to me, because I'm a woman, like, what man writes this for you? And it's fucking infuriating, because I've written every fucking piece of sound on everything I've ever written. But yeah, so He quit music recently, actually. So I've got a new sort of guy that's going to mix the next one. But I remember when he told me that he was quitting, like I was in pieces because I was like, I've been working with you for 10 years. Like, you're totally part of my system. What do I do? And he was just like, he wrote me this email that like, well, I welled up reading. And he was like, you're the producer that you are now is nothing to do with me. It's because of you and like your talent. And I'm really proud of you. And it's been like amazing to watch you grow. And I was just proper like choked up because it was like the end of an era, but in a way of like I felt like I was ready to be completely on my own anyway, and having his approval when he's so good is just incredible. And he's always just maintained that he's done nothing. And I was like, no, you taught me everything I know.
Yeah, it's like he passed the torch.
Yeah, he was like the Dre to my Eminem,
Yeah. But I can see it though, because obviously if you do something for so long, eventually you could obviously start doing that shit yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And he's even going to teach me how to mix, so I don't even need a mixer. Like he said to me, the last album that he mixed for me, he said, you send it to me half mixed anyway, you just don't realize. And then he's like, half the work's already done, so let me just teach you, and then you can cut out these middlemen, and then you'll just need someone to master it. But it's definitely been a craft, for the last 10 years, and I've learned things I never knew. And it's quite funny because he calls it Vish language, the way I speak about things, because I'm not a techie person. So when I say to him, can you make that sound less yellow, he knows what I mean.
Okay.
So for me, when something sounds really yellow, it sounds like cheesy, like too. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
The synth is too bright.
Yeah, it's too Venga Boy. Let's calm down a little bit.
Don't be slagging off Venga Boy.
I'm not. You said cheesy, and that's what first thing that came into my head. Yeah. Yes, I'm not slagging him off. We all want to go to fucking Ibiza.
But yeah, so it's just like, but there's certain words I'll say where he knows, and he's like, to be honest, if you cut out the mixer, you won't have to teach anyone Vish language.
Yeah. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
The thing that baffles me with singers and solo artists and the like is that moment where you realise you can do it. Like that, for like, hey, I'm pretty good at this. I should record stuff. What was that moment? Can you remember that moment for yourself? Or was it just like, I'm going to do it, I don't care?
No, I don't think it was a moment. I think it was, I have like trouble with self-esteem anyway. So it's not, when I'm like completely, and you said it in the intro, I'm completely like unapologetically myself, and I will just do shit regardless. But being like sure of myself is a completely different thing. But I just kind of just do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, just do it, and whether you believe you can or not, it's just like, well, of course I'm going to do it. I want to fucking do it, so I'm going to do it, kind of thing. That's kind of just how I live my life. It's not, I don't worry whether I can. I just do it, and we'll just see what happens. That probably makes no sense.
No, it does. It makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Okay.
And
absolutely.
It's incredibly brave as well to just put yourself out there, because you're like, I love doing this. I'm doing it.
You know what, it is actually, and I've realised that because none of my family actually approve of what I do for a living, and they mock it. So it is brave in my circumstance, because they're all like, when are you going to stop and get a real job?
But you have a real job.
They don't see it that way.
But it's not their life.
I know, which is why I don't really associate with any of my family, and I have like no support. It's actually been quite hard to do this without like family rooting for you, which is why I created a family of my own, so that I can have people around me who support me.
Well, I would say this at the end, but I'll say it now. You're fucking smashing it out of that proverbial ballpark. So just keep fucking doing it. Like, fuck the haters, as they say. Who cares what, you know what I mean?
Haters.
Yeah. Fuck those haters over there. Fuck them. All of them over there. Fuck them.
Bucket them right up to hell.
But I've been on your social media. I've seen those comment sections. You get some serious love from people who are like, do you know what? You've helped me. Like, you managed to put into words what I'm feeling. And I can't get that out there. That's feedback.
Actually my favorite. Sorry, I totally interrupted you then. I thought you were sorry. That's actually my favorite compliment. That you say out loud what I'm thinking, because that's gotten me in trouble, like growing up in my family, always saying the thing that you're not supposed to say. Like people are quite happy to just keep the peace kind of thing, but they all slag each other off behind each other's backs. And I would rather just fucking tell you that I don't like you, and then we get it out of the way.
So boring.
Kind of things. People say that you say it out loud, like, yeah, and I got grounded for that constantly.
It's the best way. I wish I was more like that, so I admire it in a weird way. So,
but you're a good dad, and you're the one. No, it's the other one with the dad, isn't it? But
No,
are you a dad as well?
It's Jamie.
You're a dad. You're a good dad, so you put it in that way, don't you? So you can like help them to be awesome as well. Like, yeah, you've got parents probably as well. What's that like?
I don't know how the fuck to answer that.
Fine. Do you know what though? Going back to what you said about brave, I remember when I changed my name legally about, I think it was 13 years ago, I changed my name because my birth name made me think of my mother's voice, which I didn't want to hear. So I just decided, like, I can just be like whoever I fucking want to be. And Vicious Precious is the most fantastic name. And if anyone ever says it in hate, it just sounds fab. So they'll just be like, I hate that Vicious Precious. And it would just sound just fantastic.
That is fucking brilliant. I didn't realise that was actually a legal name. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
And like my partner Loki's going to change his as well, because he's got a similar thing with his parents. And he was like, you can just do that. I'm going to do that. I'm like, fucking do it. Like now we're in a world where everyone does it anyway. But when I first did it, it was like, you can't do that. I was like, well, watch me. It was £13 sorted on Deedpoll.
Beauty.
to keep going on with the topic of being brave and whatnot, to be the front person of a band, you need to have somewhat of an outgoing personality to put yourself out there, especially during live shows. Is that something that's always been in you, or something you sort of had to develop when building up the band?
I've always been a bit mental. I mean, like I'm very very extroverted. I'm actually an introverted extrovert over time. Like sometimes my social battery just completely dies, and when it completely dies, like I have to disappear. I don't even say goodbye or anything. And it often happens after a show when you're bombarded with people, like hopefully wanting to hug you and like tell you they love you and stuff, which is incredible. But at some point it all gets like a little bit too much, and I have to like run at the back and I always tell my partner, like, just say goodbye from me. I can't handle it, because it's like it's a lot of energy to like disperse. But I just happen to have a lot of fucking energy. Like I'm always going. It's partly the bipolar, partly just like being an Aries, maybe, I don't know, partly all the different things that make me. I have a fantastic story that's awful, but I love it. Of when I was 2 and my sister was born. I actually don't have a relationship with her, but it's quite a funny story as a thing. So I hope if she sees this, she doesn't get upset or anything. When I was 2, I was the only child, and then she was born, and I was jealous of the attention that she was getting instead of me. So I sassily walked over to the white carpet and just took a shit.
Okay, that's not where I saw that going.
Nope, not in the slightest.
And that is phenomenal.
Now you're going to pay attention to me.
Can I just say, I love the fact you added the detail of the white carpet. It could just be the carpet, but it was the white carpet. It just adds extra nuance. I love it.
Nothing.
It just like the visual is just incredible.
It is, isn't it? Like nothing makes a statement quite like, all right, I see your baby attention over here. Watch this.
But it's because it's not this, because I've broken this down. It's not that I'm an attention seeker. It's that I crave to be loved, and I've made it really sad. But I like crave to be loved and have people pay attention to me, not because I need the attention. Oh, this is so hard to explain.
I get what you mean.
You know, so on stage it's kind of the same thing, that like validation of like people, they love you for like the realness that you're giving them. that is incredible. And so I rarely get stage fright, because to me it's just like this massive cathartic release of like, love me and I will love you back.
I for some reason had an image in my head of when you're on stage and people were starting to pay attention to the guitarist. You went, all right, I see you pay attention to the guitarist here. Watch this.
That's why I fired my guitarist.
Has anyone got a white rug? White rug, anybody? If we see you live now and there's not a white rug on the stage, I'm going to be really disappointed. Just so you know.
But I'm going to do a pentagram on it and just
That's
sit
fine.
inside it.
You've got to keep it in brand. Keep it on brand. But no, what I love about you and your style is the fact you add a visual element to it. Like normally in all your pictures, you've got the full face of makeup, which is something I'm a big fan of.
Sorry to let you down today.
Look, I'm a big fan of that visual aspect. Kiss is my favorite band of all time. Like that, I love that visual
Love some
aspect.
Kiss.
So, was that a conscious decision from the start to put that into it, or was it just something that?
Oh yeah,
came with it?
yeah. I know he's banned for so many reasons, but unfortunately, this is part of my story. The thing with Marilyn Manson that I used to love when I was growing up is that each album sort of had a really visual concept, and you knew what album it was because of the visual concept surrounding it. So I did that same thing. So when I released my first album, It All Stems From Childhood, I dressed up like Mickey Mouse or like children animated characters, and I had a big bow tie and like exaggerated animated features. And whenever you see pictures from that, you know that's from that era. And the next one, like a similar thing with the devil, and then just different things that when you look at pictures, you're like, oh, that's that album. And it's the whole story of the album goes with the visuals as well, because I'm just not a person that can go on stage in like a t-shirt and jeans and it's not got a story to it. Like it's all got to connect in this concept.
I love that.
Sorry, it's just just lush.
I'm just distracted by the cat.
She's like, stop trying to talk about concepts. You sound wanky. You're not profound.
Oh, phenomenal. Where did the name come from? Pretty Addicted. Where did that name come from?
I'm going to plead the fifth because it's what it sounds like. So it's just not a very responsible story. So yeah.
Okay, that's fine. We can move on. That's no drama
Yeah.
at all. I'm always intrigued by what came up first before you got there, or is that?
No, do you know what? The guy I started the band with, we'd written like loads of songs first, and then, like I said, we were just kind of fucking around, and we just got really hammered every weekend in a shed and had so much fun. Like we talk about it even now, like that year was like really fun. And even though like he went a separate way and I went a separate way, that year is always quite a special period of time, because it was before like we had a social media page, or before like I took it seriously as I do now. It was just like a massive laugh. And that's why like the album, the song names back then were just really stupid, and they weren't really thought out because it wasn't supposed to be anything. And then we did a few live shows, and I was like, man, that's what I want. And he didn't really want it to be serious, and I did, so I just went with it, and he left. Yeah,
that's fair enough. But your lyrics, though, you say a lot of people say that like you've saved them, and then with your lyrics and stuff. I'm assuming that your lyrics are quite personal to you.
Yeah.
Are there any like story-based ones, or are they literally all from things that you've experienced through life so far?
Yeah, I mean the all from my life, because I don't know how I could sing a song that I didn't personally believe or feel connected to. Like it's what other people do is up to them, but I just, if not writing a song for me or anything like that, just wouldn't feel right. There is one cover on my new album of a friend of mine, but that was a personal issue where I didn't actually think she'd be here anymore, so I wanted to put her song out into the world. But yeah, for me it's like I've got to feel emotionally connected, and sometimes playing those songs live, so I like to like really go into my head on stage, and sometimes I don't even realize like my eyes are closed for a lot of the time, so I have to like consciously open them. But like I'll go back into the mindset of when I wrote that song to like guess, method act the song, like,
Yeah.
and sometimes like I just end up fucking sobbing on stage. I'm like, oh my god, this is not cool. But it's I just feel really emotionally attached to everything I do. I've got a lot of emotion, and it's the best way to get it out, I think.
Absolutely, I absolutely agree. Like you say, you're putting that out there, that message out there. You know, it's a form of therapy. A lot of songwriters say.
100%, 100%. Music is therapy. I mean, how many times has music got you through some shit, man? Like anger or sadness or heartbreak. Like, man, how can anyone get through a heartbreak without music? And and then songs remind you of people, and then you can never listen to them again because that person's not in your life. And it's got a tremendous effect on us as people, I think.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like every emotion, like you said, every emotion, there's a song for it. So this is where the conversation gets interesting when we talk about your lyrics, because there's obviously a lot of religious connotations, shall we say, with your lyrics. Yeah. Where does this come from? Is this past experiences? Is this views of the world?
How long you got? Okay, so no, genuinely, the shortened version. My mum became a born again Christian when I was 9, and overnight Jesus was the center of her world. And I mean, like, took me to Pentecostal church, speaking in tongues, fucking Bible bashing, mental. And then she went and married an American who moved in the house, and they were both unbelievably preachy. And I went to many American churches. So sometimes people say to me on my page, oh, you're talking about Church of England? No. I went to the fucking Bible Belt, and I was yelled at about fire and brimstone, that I was going to burn in hell when I was younger. And just because I really just wanted to be fucking accepted, I forced myself to believe. And I definitely was a born again Christian when I was, well, I struggled all throughout my teenage life, really, and early 20s, like, couldn't get rid of it. Like, I was so scared of hell. I was so scared to accidentally blaspheme and not, and just burn forever. It was like really embedded. Everything I did, everything I said, everything I thought, the thought crime is mad. Like things like masturbating, sending you to hell, and like just genuinely like every human urge you have as a teenager tortures you. And I thought a lot about the devil chasing me, and it was definitely like the center of my household. And only when lockdown happened, actually, I properly deconverted. I've always kind of spoke about anti-religious themes, but it was on the last one where I like went full force with it. And I was like, I care about this massively because I know the damage that it does. I mean, my mum doesn't speak to me because Jesus says that I'm the devil, my brothers don't speak to me because I have the devil in me, like I'm evil, I'm satanic, I'm all this stuff, and I've seen the damage it does to people. So I'm really passionate now that I'm completely an atheist and I've gone through the deconversion. It's my mission to tell people about this. Like, I'm so angry at what it does to people. It's the manipulation of going to a church service, and I don't know if you've ever heard of Hillsong, but like there's songs where the music is beautiful and it's designed to be beautiful to really give you that emotional release that you would get at like a trance night or something really stringy, and you stand there and you feel it and you feel the Holy Spirit, blah blah blah, and you feel so sinful and guilty and you want freedom and liberation from this evil mind that you have, and then you cry and you beg Jesus to love you, and it's all so thick. And then they want money from you and they tell you like to keep repenting, keep being on your knees, keep denying your human urges. And I've seen what it does to people, so I'm enraged at it.
I can't say I blame you. That's so culty. It's insane.
Which is why I made my own cult. It's all designed on purpose to give people from religious traumatic backgrounds a cult, an anti-cult almost, like against them. So I've started calling it an anti-religion and anti-hymns and anti-sermons and things like that, because I will die on this hill against them. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for people being religious. That's their choice, but I don't appreciate when it's not ramming it down everybody else's neck and trying to, that sort of thing. Like, absolutely not.
I think that's where and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's where I'm definitely different, because I'm not okay with religion, and I think that you are ramming it down people's throat, even if you're not forceful about it, because the things that are in there, obviously, all sort of religions have their own problems, but I'm specifically talking about Christianity because I came from it. So it's not to say, some people come over and go, oh, what about Islam? I said, yeah, I don't like it either, but I didn't come from it, so I can't speak personally about it. But in the Bible, which I've got my Bible from when I was a teenager, literally over there, in it says, that women are second, that women are property, and that gay people are evil, and there's no forgiving any of that, and women should be silent and things like that. So even if you're saying you're not jamming it down people's throat, the views in that book are so disgusting that if you stand by it, then I'm against you, because I can't. You've formed yourself in a position against me, so now I'm against you because I have queer friends and I'm a woman and I want to speak, and it's just they've got this vendetta against people that are free.
Yeah, I can't say I've read it, so so
what's an interesting story that I really, it's incredible. My partner, who's my drummer, he was my drummer first, but when we met each other, he had just been disfellowshipped from the Jehovah's Witness cult. His mum is also a religious Spanish woman, as is my mother. So he and I have our Bibles together over there from when we were teenagers, and we've both underlined and highlighted things that we thought were important, and we both really believed. So it's actually incredible to meet someone who's on the same journey, who feels so strongly about it, to fight against it with.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's like fighting the trauma with something that's productive and helpful, and freeing other people. And I cannot believe how many, since I've gone, right, that's it, I'm on this fight, this is my fight, I can't believe how many people have come over to the Facebook page and been I'm dealing with this, my family won't talk to me, hearing you blaspheme is liberating, because I'm not allowed to, and I live in the Bible Belt and all of this. And it's no, fuck it, I'll say it then, you just sing along in your ears.
If you don't mind me asking, what was that moment for you where you were like, no, not anymore, I'm not standing for this anymore?
In lockdown, I started watching, I don't know how I found it, but I stumbled upon atheist YouTube, and I still watch them, I think they're fantastic, but I watched atheist podcasts where Christians call in and they debate, and I'd never seen a debate with an atheist and a Christian before, or an atheist and religious person, because to me it was God was the default position, and it was just whether you choose God or the devil. That was my brain. But the atheists, specifically Matt Dillahunty, started saying to people, use things using logic, and I was never considered that before. And I was listening to hours and hours and weeks and days, and I locked myself in a room and I just listened to unbelievable amounts of atheists talk to these Christians, and it just made sense that this was just not true. And then I came to the realization that I'd been lied to, and that I believed something that was bullshit, and that goes against everything in my being. So the day I realized I was an atheist, I wrote my first song of the new album called There Is No God, and it was purposeful to tell myself that there is no God, and that was it, and this is the start of my new fucking journey, and that's it now, and this is all I care about. Because I couldn't believe how you get told, especially as a child when you're indoctrinated, this is real, and then everything is from that default position. So everything in your brain is well, God's gonna punish me if I, even if I'm free, even if I do say fuck you, I'm gonna do it this way, ultimately I'm gonna go to hell. When you start to unravel it all and you go back to square one, you realize there's nothingness. You feel betrayed by yourself and by other people, and it makes you want to fight back, especially when you truly believed. It's different if you go to Catholic school and it's all bullshit in your ears, but when you begged Jesus for things, and you realize you were talking to yourself the whole time, it's a chaos in your head. And the only way I've been able to process it is go, right, now that's it, I'm gonna make it my mission through my music to talk about this. And I decided, right, I'm starting a cult. We're going to talk about it. You can be here for the music and that's fine, or you can be here for the cult and not the music, and that's fine, or you can be here for everything. But I wanted to do something with my platform against all this shit. Sorry, I've gone off on one. Sorry.
It's all good.
I love
Jamie
it.
started it.
I love it though, because you could see just how fucking passionate you were about that, and how much it means to you. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to ask, because you can see how important it is to you, and the fact you've got all these people in your comment section, part of members of this cult, are like, I've gone through this, and it's shit, and there's still people out there, and but on the other side of that, we mentioned how people in the comments are like, oh my god, I love what you do. This is I'm gonna guess you get very much the opposite side of that as well.
Well, I literally wrote a song called Feed the Sheep about this. I made the whole music video is made up of screenshots of things Christians said to me. I get thousands, and I mean, it got to the point where I had like 272, because I remember 272 pages of screenshots that I'd saved on my phone, and I've got 2 music videos. One is, me lip syncing alongside some of the screenshots, and one is on Facebook of just all the fucking screenshots. And it's like 6 minutes of just, you're going to burn in hell, you're disgusting. Why don't you go hang yourself so you can be with Satan sooner? Just join Satan now. No one loves you. Daddy issues, like ugly. So my song Feed the Sheep, I just used all of the stuff they said for lyrics. So the lyrics are like, she's demonic, she's ugly, she worships Satan, she's going to hell and I'll laugh, she's a slut, she's ugly, all these different things. I just put them in the lyrics. And then I went into my Bible, and Jesus said to his flock, feed my sheep. And because it was all about like them being sort of beneath him and collective, and I was like, that's what they are. They're sheep that come over, and I'm just going to keep feeding them. So I realized I can get back at them through the art and win. And also the amount of fucking traction they brought my page is just unreal, all organic, and it's brought in all the people that don't like the Christians as genuine fans, as well as all the Christians themselves. And it's like, so I just keep feeding them. Every time I upload a picture of me with an upside down cross or my tits out or whatever, they love it, because it brings them over, like, you're going to burn in hell. But then for every 100 of them is like 3 people go, this has shown up on my feed because some bullshit, and now I'm going to check it out, and now you're my favorite band, so yay. And just use them for a success, really.
Christians are like the worst people as well. They
prove themselves over and over and over again as the worst people.
Like, I might get a little bit personal here. My mum's ex-partner was a chaplain, yet committed all sorts of adultery and is a sociopath and all sort of stuff. So it's like, that's really interesting, that.
The hypocrisy, it's real. It's like the absolute hypocrisy. I've seen it, and I've got the homophobia in my family, my religious family, really infuriates me, because there's like a couple verses about it, but the verse above it will say, don't mix fabrics, and then underneath it says, don't be gay. But they're fine with mixing fabrics, because that doesn't mean anything anymore. But the gay thing, no, that's definitely set in stone, and they cherry pick the whole book. Their agenda, and it's just all boring. They're just so pressed about what people do. And I love Christopher Hitchens. I got really into him again recently. I know he's dead. We lost something very special with him, but he did a lot of good in like the 90s, early 2000s with this. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen any of his debates with Stephen Fry online. So Christopher Hitchens was a British, journalist, I would say, but on TV. And he did like documentaries about Mother Teresa and what a piece of shit she was, and all these kind of things. And he really broke stuff down. And he debated with the Catholic Church with Stephen Fry on this one show. And he talked about how they wouldn't let Stephen Fry in the church. So anyone who's like not all right with that is not all right with me. And he just completely owns them. And it was incredible. It was, if anyone watching this wants to see it, it was an hour long. And the question was, is the Catholic Church a force for good? Yes or no? And it was Christopher Hitchens and Stephen Fry on one side, and that Anne Whitcomb prick and some priest on the other side. And there's just no arguments for the good. There's no, charity works. Like, yeah, you can do that without that man on a cross.
Stephen Fry's a legend of the highest order as well.
Allegedly.
But I admire the fact and respect the fact that you don't let these naysayers deter you from what you do. You just give, let me use it. Like the fact, because there are people out there that would have this and go, it's not worth it. I can't take all this negativity. The fact you use it and don't let it deter you is incredibly admirable. It really is.
Thank you. I did shed a lot of tears initially, because it was like the amount of people that say I'm ugly. It's now at the point where if you write ugly on my page, it doesn't show up. I've hidden that word from my PA page, as well as edgelord and so sorry guys, you can't write that, and daddy issues as a phrase, because they were just things that they were just saying constantly to me. Some guy put oh, just spending daddy's money, rich white kid, and I was like, if only you knew, mate. No, my dad does not help me, but it's just like, I don't know. And also being a woman's part of it, because it's like, who is this woman over here being gobby, like I said, like, and daring to not, I don't know, there's a lot of, because I don't use sex, not that there's anything wrong with that, and there's like, hey, I support all women for doing womanhood however they want, but I sometimes get like, oh, she's not feminine enough for me online, so I'm just gonna tear her down because she's gobby. I do get that a lot. Yeah.
It's just insanely boring, isn't it? More than anything else. Like, you not got anything else to say, like, other than yawn.
I mean, I've got a lot of marriage proposals lately as well.
Well, I suppose there's a positive side to it at all.
Mainly Ethiopian kings.
Nigerian princes, is it?
That's the one, yeah.
It's one way to break into that market, I guess.
I mean, to be honest, like you said, there's a lot of good in there, and I try to focus on that. And there are days when I cry, and obviously the mental health is an issue. I sit sometimes, and like this last week, I spent most of it crying in bed and talking things out with my partner. And then I realized today, like, look, the only way I'm going to lose for sure is if I don't play the game. So at least if I try and don't get it, at least I tried. But sitting here for a week crying means I'm going to obviously get the result that comes out of that, which is nothing. So I need to just get my ass up and just plow through and just keep trying, because I might get there, but I definitely won't if I don't try.
Makes sense.
So,
well,
yeah,
you're a stunningly wonderful human. So
thank you.
Don't let them fucking get to you. Don't let them win. Do not let them win. But that would now make sense as to why some of your song titles are fucking superb. Especially "Fuck Me While Jesus Watches." I mean, that's definitely there. "Oink Fucking Oink" as well is in there, and "Dickhead."
Right, okay. "Fuck Me While Jesus Watches," right, is literally the most offensive thing I could think of, and I wanted to make something the most offensive thing there's ever been. Plus, I wanted the T-shirt, which I made, because I was like, we've had the Cradle of Filth, Jesus as a cunt. We need a girl one with "Fuck Me While Jesus Watches" on it. And I'm in the T-shirt, I've got massive boobs, and I'm holding a decapitated Jesus head. So I think that's pretty
phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
And just...
Dickhead was about 3 of my girlfriends had been like fucked over by their boyfriends. By girlfriends I mean mates, because I know we're the polyglot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No. That's another thing we get asked about a lot. I'm like, no, sorry, but yeah. So they were getting fucked over by their boyfriends. I was like, oh, these women need a song. So I just wrote about all their stupid boyfriends. And "Oink Fucking Oink" is a follow-up to my song "Piggy," because people that love money and are greedy, I call them little piggies. So "Oink Fucking Oink" is these just little cunts that just like, they're out just to get your money and fame, and not necessarily just mine, but everybody's.
They're fucking incredible. But then I also wanted to shout out as well, "Mania" is unbelievable. Heather and "Filthy Whore" as well. I swear, I've written that way too fucking. I can't read that last word, but bangers, absolute bangers.
Thank you. "Filthy Whore Mouth" is actually in kind of what we're saying.
Mouth. That's what it says. That's what it says.
"Filthy Whore Mouth" is kind of in the sort of realm of what we were saying. That was on my first album in 2014, and that was the first album I wrote on my own. And the album that I wrote before with like the guy I was saying, when we first put it out, there was a lot of people, I won't name names or anything, but in a certain scene that were like insulting me, saying that swearing as a woman is unintelligent and I'm the wrong kind of woman and things like that. So when I wrote Filthy Whoremouth, it was basically to everyone that says I'm supposed to be a certain kind of woman, because the lyrics are just like you know you want to fuck me, just shut up.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant.
You know, like, and there's that one lyric, it's like, if I act like a cunt, can I join your dick suck soiree? Because these guys, it's just such a boys' club in the music industry. It's like they don't let women in unless they want to fuck them. And it's they're all just sucking each other's dicks.
Fucking phenomenal. Just going back to Fuck Me While Jesus Watches. How many seconds did it take you to convince your other half on the concept for the music video? I'm guessing 0.1.
Do you know what? You know that that was like legitimately real. That scene with me and him, like it was in. That is a very small amount of footage from a long drunk 10-minute video that watched back once.
Oh, Vish, you've just set yourself a whole new like level now. Like, incredible. That's legitimate PORN on YouTube, actually. Yeah.
Fucking fair play. Fair play. Oh.
I can't imagine my father watched that one. He watches some of my videos, but I never got a text when that was released.
Oh.
Remember, I said I want to film like, because it was quite a liberating song for me, because I knew like definitely that would really piss my religious family off, and I know they stalked me before that a little bit online. Like I heard from the grapevine they would stalk my music, and I was like, let me just really just piss them away. Like I don't want them stalking me anymore. This one will really keep them away. I was like, I've got to do something that's just like they're never going to come back, because I hate that whole underlying thing. And I was like, you know what, people have never seen me like this. They always kind of see me like scary and aggressive and stuff. Like I've got like a feminine side, and like sex is great. Everyone fucking likes sex. You shouldn't be ashamed of it. I was like, let's just fucking do it like a sexy song. And then he was like, I'm not doing that scene. And I was like, no, seriously, come on, I'll get you drunk. So we got really hammered. and I was like, come on. And he was like, barely get to the bed, to be honest. He was like, oh. And I was like, all I know is that the next day I watched it back, and he never watched it back. I was like, you don't want to see this. Just trust me that I'll use the footage that's okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never been so glad I've asked a question in my fucking life. Oh. Just thinking about it though, we've been talking all about the thematic side of your music, the lyrics and everything like. We've not actually described the sound of your music. How would you describe your sound for people that aren't aware?
So, it's morphed, because you brought up some, like in that list of songs you just kind of gave, we've spanned sort of the evolution of the genres really. So it's sort of now currently I describe it as like Satan rave.
Brilliant.
And I call it like, so because I've leaned more into the heavier side, I would call it like metal infused rave music, whereas before it was more ravier than heavy. So I've kind of evolved sort of to be darker over time. So Mania, which tends to be like people's like favorite, I would say, or their gateway Pretty Addicted song as it's been described, they sometimes like will not follow the evolution because they want it to keep it that way. So if you do hear Mania first, like it's not like that anymore, I think is the thing to sort of say. It's definitely heavier now, and it's only going to get heavier because I'm angry. Really. So I would call it like there's every influence under the sun in there. It's so hard to describe. I try even not to fully describe it, because it's like I like it to be its own sort of thing, you know. But then it gets difficult when you're approaching festivals and venues and stuff. They're like, well, you're too heavy for this dance event, and you're too dancey for this heavy event. I was like, just put me on a stage and I promise you people will enjoy it, because it's the energy and the energy and the vibe that people like. I don't think you should undermine your audiences by saying they only want 4 bands in the lineup that sound the same. They want just people to bring the fire, and I will just put me on.
Absolutely. Like your sort of music, it's you're gonna dance, you're gonna have a good time. Who the fuck doesn't want to dance and have a good time?
Honestly, like I love so many, like metal is a big thing for me, and punk's a good thing for me, and goth and all those things, but dance music has a special place in my soul, you know, starting from sort of the Prodigy times, but even like that question about what genre you would take on a desert island. Like I would probably take classic 90s trance music, because that's like my favorite of all the genres. It's just got that emotion that just evokes just the most cathartic experience. So I try to always include that style among the heaviness. I really like the idea of like the darkest possible, like almost black metal-y type sounds with the top ends of like the most emotional cry-wanky trance, and then somewhere in the middle you're laughing at me.
It's just more of these Vish words. They're the fucking best. Cry wanky trance. That's the best.
You know what I mean, though. It kind of makes you want to cry and wank, you know. But I didn't need to describe it, really. You got it. But I just like really, really, really fucking dark, but really, really emotional at the same time. And then in the middle, just chucking in like my voice, which I think is quite distinctive, and yeah, I think distinctive is quite a good word. So you chuck that in the middle, which kind of doesn't make sense, but does. So it all kind of works in its own weird way. I remember saying once to my to the guy who taught me how to write music, I said to him once, like, what if, you know, people are copying music now? What if like AI copies or some artist copies? And he looked at me and he's like, I don't think anyone can copy you because the way you write is so fucking bizarre. And I took it as a compliment. I was like, yes, okay, you're right.
No way AI algorithm's gonna fucking get to me, pricks.
Oh, no.
Fuck ChatGPT.
AI is a joke, though. Like I heard the other day that there's an artist that's completely AI, and all the music is AI, and the way she looks is AI. And I saw a picture of her, and she's completely like symmetrical and perfect looking, and it's dangerous. It really is. And you're taking out the story from it, and the personal experience and the emotion. And
There'll be robots soon. So
I'm way too millennial to fit in with these kids, though. Like I will not TikTok. I will not TikTok.
I mean, we do, but we only put clips up. We don't actually use it. If that makes sense. We just throw clips up. There you go. Enjoy it. There's the show. Enjoy.
Yeah.
We haven't done a dance number on there.
No.
That was just all it was for back in the day, just dancing on it. And now all of a sudden, it's just taking over the world.
I think my issue with TikTok has always been what's like gone to everything now, with like this skit mentality where you have to do skits to sell your music, and I will not skit. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like you see these people go like, "Oh, what are you doing today?" And the same person's going, "I think I'll listen to Pretty Addicted." It's just so wanky.
It is. Or to go with wanky is these ones where they go and
literally don't fucking point at words. My god.
Yeah, I can't fucking stand it.
Sorry, I've just scared my cat. She's like, I can't stand it. Look, I understand why people are doing it, but I just can't. I can't even consider. or when people use other people's like video, but they're in the corner just going,
oh yeah, I hate that one. Yeah.
I don't need your profound expression. Just let me watch the fucking video. Ugh.
It'd be happening in real life soon. It's be following you around. It's just like.
I don't, because that's probably true.
I'd love that to have a deaf sign interpreter at one of your shows do your lyrics. That'd be fucking brilliant. Yeah.
Oh my god! Do you know what? I had one of my most favorite compliments ever last show I did in Sweden, and this guy came up to me and he was like, my 7-year-old daughter really likes you. And I was like, oh no, what did you say to her? And he goes, I said that if she grows up to be just like you, I'll be really proud. And I was like, That's so cool. I was like,
Oh,
just to go like that to people.
That's fucking
They're
amazing.
my favorite things. I think this whole like child friendly thing. I'm actually really cool with kids, and I think you shouldn't treat kids like they're fucking stupid. Like they know what's up, and they know what's, when you're walking down the street as an alternative person and the parents like, oh, don't look at them because they're weird. The kids are always like fascinated, like she's really cool, and it's only the parents that are going, no, she's weird. So then those kids grow up to be judgmental people, but actually the kids are just like fascinated by everything that's different and weird, and like,
exactly why this exists. Exactly why this exists. Which, oddly enough, I was going to talk to you about the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, because obviously being an alternative female, is this something you've had to deal with? Like, were you just saying people being like, oh, look at that?
Oh, 100%, especially growing up in Croydon. But actually, something I want to touch on that happened the other day that's actually not even happened to me, but I want to highlight. So my partner, who is straight but wears like eyeliner and fingernail polish, and people sometimes will assume he's gay if they're like normal or something. He was going to work the other day, and he had a knife pulled on him because he was alternative, and the guy accused him of being gay.
What?
And he had to go, and he had to go. I hope he won't mind. I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, but he had to go to the police station, do a statement and everything. And just because he was different, and I think the fact that's still happening. And then afterwards, he said to me, like, it really makes you think. Like, obviously, I'm not gay, but what it's like to be a gay person, to have that happen to you. And it's not just being gay, it's being weird, it's being different, it's looking like you want, and it's not even necessarily just alternative, but someone who's walking down the street really colorful and fab, and they get looked at and they get comments, and it still goes on. And the Sophie Foundation is still really important to highlight stuff like this, because even though it's getting better, it absolutely still happens. And I was just so terrified for him. He called me at work, he said, oh, I've just had this happen to me, and I was freaking out. I was like, you okay? And he's like, yeah, I was a bit shaken up. Having a knife pulled on you because he was like implying that he was gay, saying that do you want to touch my dick type of thing.
What the fuck?
Fucking,
so weird. Why would you even do that? What goes through someone's head and goes, he wants to touch me, I don't do myself, weapon. Like, it's so moronic. I don't understand the thought process that led to that happening. Makes no sense.
I know. Like Charlie Sheen said in that crazy interview that everyone mocks him for, he said, but I think he was a legend in. He turned around and said, people, they don't understand me, so they say that I'm wrong, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. They go, I don't understand what this is, so I'm gonna just dismiss it. And it does happen absolutely as a woman. In fact, it happens in the alternative scene for me, because like I say, that I have a lot of issues being the wrong kind of woman, where I'm not for the gaze of men, and that's absolutely a thing that still happens. And sexism is still massive. It's, if you go through lineups and you see how many women are on there, it's not a lot. And then you get people saying, oh, now there's too many women, because you do get festivals almost like overcompensating, putting women on just because they're women. So then it just makes the guys go, see, they're not talented. And it's like, yeah, but let's not overcompensate. And I also really am vehemently against girls only festivals, or these girls to the front movements, or things like that, because I understand why they're there, but if we keep everyone separate, we're never going to fix the problem. It's not about giving women their own festival, because what happens with that is sexists will go, oh look, it's their little pussy festival, and it's not the real one, it's the little pussy version. Then you'll get the perverts going to look all day long, and then you've got people going there just to mock. It's just not helpful in the way that I know the intention is there. The answer is like, can we please consider a band just because they're good, not because of whatever gender they are? Like, it's that fucking simple. It really is. It just really fucking is. Like, I've been mentored by a man who's never acted like I'm a woman. He's just talked to me like a fucking human for 10 years and taught me how to do stuff, and never gone, oh, of course you don't know how to use it, or whatever. Like, we've just sat in rooms together for years while he's taught me everything he knows. For me to go to gigs and have people talk to my partner instead of me about his songs and then ignore me. Yes. a lot.
Fucking
It happens
hell.
on tour a lot, and people assuming that someone writes it for me or that he writes it. And there was a lot of congratulating him on his stuff in front of me, and he would be like, yeah, you know, it's her stuff, and then just keep talking to him anyway. It's I always say, like, as a woman, you've got to work twice as hard for half as much respect, and it really is the case. And then it's not just about being a woman trying to fight that, it's then you're competing with the other few women who all want the same spot as you, so then you get pitted against each other. And let's be honest, the sexy ones, you know, the most whatever that means, because it's all subjective, the sexy ones to whoever's booking will get it. And some weirdo in corpse paint saying "Hail Satan" is like at the bottom of the list, I keep finding. So it's an uphill struggle that I'll never fucking quit trying on, but it is definitely like effort every step of the way just to get recognized for my music. Like, look, if you don't like my music, that's fucking cool. You don't have to, but do not dismiss it because of what's in front of you.
As we said, there are that many fucking genres of music. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean someone else won't. Don't need to drag anyone down. Personally, I think your music's fucking great. And
thank you.
I'm going to keep looking out for a Birmingham show because I want to see you live. So
well, I'm going to do one UK headline show this year in Leeds, so I hope that's not too far, in October, and I'm announcing it after this, actually, so this will be out later. So it will already have been announced, so it's on Friday, October 18th at Eiger Studios in Leeds. And yeah, I mean, we haven't done anything all year, gig wise, because I've been like working on creative things that I want to do and get myself ready for hopefully a bigger next year. But I needed to do something, so I've just set myself up one big headline gig, and hopefully people will come out to it and support. And I've called it like an anti-church service. I'm going to go all out to make it really cool, and I'm going to bring my altar, and there's going to be a whole like anti-hymn sermon. I'm just going to make a whole fucking show of it, and hope as many people as possible come and support us. And yeah, I'm going to try and invite media there. You guys are obviously welcome to come if you want to. I need to be out there more. I think I felt unheard a lot, so I'm just going to be twice as loud now to try and get heard. It's been 13 years and I want my time.
It's coming. If you keep going the way you're going, it's coming. Eventually, that one person's going to take that chance, and it's going to be like, see ya, off to the moon.
I hope so, because it's. I feel like I really like deserve it in myself, like not because I'm oh my god the best thing ever. It's like I've worked really hard for it. Like I've really worked hard for it. And one thing, like even if you don't, like I say, like my music or whatever, like you can't undermine my work ethic, because I really have worked for this for 13 years, and like without any financial help or family support or anything, and I've worked my fucking ass off, and I want it with my whole soul, and it's not for anything other than just to like walk out onto the biggest crowd I can and just get that feeling that I love when I step on stage and I just feel alive. And that was what Mania was about, like in those moments where you're just a god, then everything else is just fucking nothing, because in that moment like, you've got the world in your fucking hands, you know.
Absolutely. And like you say, you deserve it. And if there's one thing I want people to take away from this, is just how passionate you are about this, all the hard work you put into it, and you've not let anything deter you. Because there's a lot of musicians and bands that have gone, do you know what, it's been a few years, nothing's happening, fuck it, let's go back to the 9 to 5. But you're not. You're plugging away.
I've seen a lot of people quit in the last 13 years. I've seen a lot of bands come and go, like a lot of bands, even ones much bigger than myself, just quit. You know, do you remember the Defiled?
Yeah, I love that band.
I was talking about them the other day. I was like, I can't believe they just quit one day. Like I know he's still doing stuff with another band, the singer, I forget, Lee. But I was talking the other day, my partner didn't know who he was, and I was like, I swear they played like on, where was it? Not in Finland. It was like
it was like an iceberg or some shit, wasn't it? Yeah.
And they were in like the Guinness Book of Records for it. And then I remember them quitting and them saying in their thing, there's no money in the industry and we're quitting for this reason. And I was just like, I remember being like flabbergasted that a band who was like touring with massive bands and doing like really well on the cusp were like, dude, there's no fucking longevity or money in this. And I see that a lot, and it really is a sacrifice. I have like no guaranteed earnings and things like that, but you've got to do it because you love it. And fuck for Patreon if anyone wants to actually support me to help me live my mad dreams and have conversations with me, because I do like monthly chin wags over a coffee, and I do monthly karaoke sessions where I sing other people's songs, and we do like all 80s or all, like last time I did new metal songs for like 3 hours, and we all get drunk and I have like a laugh with everyone. It's really cool. So there are ways to support artists that you like, just to help them do it, because it is not easy as a life.
The problem with the Defiled is they spent all the money they made on hairspray. Like, their hair was fucking huge.
The jacket.
And the jackets. Before we start wrapping this up, if people are listening to this and they want to check out some Pretty Addicted music, what's a couple of songs from the back catalogue that stand out to yourself? Mr. Stevens listed his earlier. For me, it's See No Future and Child of the Devil. Absolutely loved those songs.
You know, Future. Old school.
Loved
Thank you.
Yeah, really liked that one. What about yourself?
Thank you. Child of the Devil's up there. Trauma's probably, I think, technically, like in technical terms, my best song. I really like Child of the Devil. I love Feed the Sheep. It just goes so fucking hard, and it wasn't even going to be included. As in, I finished the album, and then all that Christian shit was coming in, and I just wrote that like in 24 hours because of so much rage. So it's just got a lot of passion and rage to it. I think those three, Trauma, Child of the Devil, and Feed the Sheep, sort of explain in the best way like the direction that it is now and where it's sort of going towards. I love Heather. I think that end part is a vibe on stage. It really is a vibe. We've sort of done a thing now where on that last section I grab the drumsticks and I like smash the cymbals, and he films me. So they've just got loads of footage on his phone of like him filming me and just getting into. I was like, I love doing this. It's cool. It's like, no wonder you like this. It's fucking therapeutic. But yeah, and I mean, Blood Moon's a really tough one, but it's like emotionally, but it was an important one. Actually, shout out to my friend. Do you know Pulverize?
Yes.
Yes.
Very good. Vicky's like my best mate, and her dog Sparky, who recently died, bless him. I loved that fucking dog, and his bark is in my song Blood Moon. And when I was like going through a heartbreak, like the worst emotional pain I've ever been in, I went to Vicky's house and she went to work, and I sat with Sparky all day long, and he sat on me, like holding me while I cried all day.
Aww.
And I wrote all the lyrics to Blood Moon with that dog laying on me, and then I sampled his bark in the song so that he like lives in that song. So I just love the idea that even though he's not here, that he's still here.
That's lush. That's so nice.
Shout out to Pulverize, by the way. I love them, and I literally cannot root for anyone anymore. I love them. They're such nice people. Everyone go follow them.
Mr. Stevens, any more questions for our wonderful guest?
I do. When you first started this journey with Pretty Addicted, did you ever think that this is where you'd be today?
Yeah. Like, no, but yeah, because it's just not an option to give up at all. So yeah, but no, it's like unbelievable at the same time. And if I go back to being a little girl with no friends, writing songs in my room, crying a lot, I'm just such a cool person to that little girl that I never in that moment would have thought I would be. But the second I started like doing this on my own, it was like a fucking mission. Especially because when I first started doing it alone and me and the guy parted ways, I was told I couldn't do it on my own without a guy. So we were on like a very, very, very small label that I won't name or anything, but back then. And I literally got an email from them saying, I'm crazy if I think I could do it without this guy. So when people tell me I can't do something, I'm just gonna fucking do it. So yes, yes, I can believe I'm here because I have that tenacity and everything, but it's definitely unbelievable if you go even further back that I'm that person on that record that I used to listen to in my CD player. Do you remember those CD players?
Oh yes. Oh yes. and
Those CDs were
Discmans.
so expensive as well.
They were. It was brutal.
And now music's just free and we get nothing from it. Oh my
It's because
God.
people are greedy motherfuckers, and that's why. Oh, this is some great music that you've poured your blood, sweat, and tears into. Have 0.0000001 pence of it.
I know. It's
That's
if
me
you
jealous.
guys saw, I mean, if you guys saw how much, I get from music streaming, it's disgusting. People watching it and they want to support me or any bands they like. I always say, like, if you like, your top 3 bands, just support them financially where you can. Just like, obviously you can't support every band you like, but just in your head, I support sort of about 3 bands financially, a month, because it is if those 3 people every so often, you're one of them, so you get little bits of help here and there, and it makes all the difference. Like having a physical CD for the nostalgia of it, or downloading it on Bandcamp, which the royalties are much better, or buying a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Or or this is one where I'm burning a Bible, and it was oil painting art, and it's incredible.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, and it was very expensive because there's 8 colours in it. And if you've ever printed a t-shirt, you'll know that 8-colour screen print and the back is a lot of money.
Fucking hell.
I've spent thousands on merch over the years. So yeah, every time someone gets anything, it's just really, really appreciated. And every time someone does buy something, I've got orange and black cards that I handwrite to say thank you, and I put like black and orange envelopes with goth mail on it, and I try and go out of my way to show that this is not just a consumer, but that you really helped and mean something to me, and I do really, really, really appreciate it.
Well, before we let you get out of here, plugs, social medias. Tell us where we can go to support you.
Yes, so Facebook is doing really well. It's not dead. The millennials know what I'm talking about. It's Facebook is the place, it seems. So I'm just like, look, hey, rolling with it. So follow my Facebook, Instagram, obviously at Pretty Addicted Cult, but the website prettyaddicted.co.uk just takes you everywhere. All the socials, the merch store, the tickets to the gig in October. It tells you a little bit about the cult, but I'm actually making more of that. I bought a little grimoire, and I'm going to write the story of the cult in here.
Ooh.
And make a proper lore to it. And just because if I get an idea in my head, that's it. It has to become like a whole thing. So yeah, join my Patreon if you want to chat to me. I've also got, as of the end of May, I don't know when this will go out, but at the end of May, I'm going to start a cult Patreon. So the normal one I've got right now just gets you to chat with me, but this new one, so I'm going to do monthly anti-sermons. So last month on Facebook, I got very drunk on Easter Sunday, and I stood in front of my altar and I read from the actual Bible. And then I just blasphemed and got really hammered and spoke against it, and people loved it. So I'm like, right, well, let's make that a thing then. So I'm just gonna, for £6.66 a month, you can watch me blaspheme Jesus, if that's your thing. But yeah, just support where you can. prettyaddicted.co.uk, that will take you to everything. And yeah, even if like, look, I'm broke, if all you can do is share, just share with your friends. I've just got a real problem with Spotify numbers at the moment. Like, people keep saying they love my songs, but then my Spotify numbers are shit. So I hate all this corporation bullshit, but if you do like a song, just add it to a playlist so that it counts somewhere. Because a lot of the media don't care about your story, they just care about your numbers. So unfortunately, you've got to play the game.
Unfortunately.
It's literally capitalism and corporations, and you guys are lovely enough to sit here and listen to my story, but when I email people, they just want to know what my numbers are. So
Bastards. Yeah,
I get it completely. Vish, this has
it's
been
soul destroying, isn't it? It's soul destroying.
yeah,
it is. Vish, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for doing this.
Sorry, I waffle, but
no,
you get
we
me
love
excited.
waffle.
No.
This is the whole point. This is for you to talk, not us. So we love the waffle, but yeah, this has been fucking
But
unbelievable.
not a blue waffle.
No,
I
because
was
no one
thinking
needs
it and
that
I
in their
didn't
life.
say it, but you did it.
No
for
one
me.
needs that in their life. No one even go to the doctor if that's the case, please. Fucking hell. It should not be fucking blue.
I've thrown in way too many things from our childhood. Two girls and cut and blue waffle. It's the beginning of the internet again, where we're just typing in shit.
I remember being really hardcore at school, being like, "Have you seen Two Girls One Cup?" Do you know what I mean? Like, we all thought we were badass for watching
But
it.
did you ever put boobies on a calculator?
Oh, and do the calculation for it.
You know the calculation for it.
But do you remember those games where you went blue, number 4, and then
Yeah.
your mum smells?
Yeah. We'd just bring them back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You might find that in a video in the future. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be incredible. Proper 90s kids games at school.
Side note, just to quickly say what I'm going to be up to people that are watching. I'm going to be doing a lot of creative stuff this year. So I'm going to be making lots of like cult videos, and like, because my partner is actually a videographer, and he's got an amazing camera and he's very skilled. We're going to go into the woods a few days and just film really weird Blair Witchy type shit, and just put my music behind it in really stretched out creepy ways, and just put out weird cultic propaganda, and just make everything really visual and interesting, because my desire is that people are like, she is fucking weird, I need to listen to her music. So make lots of creative art. Content creation is like, it's becoming too much of a thing. I'm like, let's go out and make some art and put it out, and then we can do the bullshit content creation alongside. So yeah, my plan is to do my 3-year plan, but that's this year, is just to make loads of art and release it. So when I do put it out, if you don't all mind sharing it, if you like it, and tell your friends.
Absolutely will.
Thank you for having me. It's been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
guys.
Vish. Take care.
I'm gonna go cook now.
Enjoy.
I'm gonna go work.
Bye. Bye.